and hello, welcome to this video. So I'm going to do again our Salome work. Last time we were over here. Okay, so we want to be able to we want to be able to add these outlets, inlets, and wall into the so-called faces. Okay, we want to add these faces into our mesh. So that's the objective today. After all that work, tidying things up, you should make this step a little bit easier. Okay, so now we see this build cylinder top to outlet face, and build cylinder to curved wall face, and all of this we will have our set wall name and set wall, so that when we get our wall name and get the wall, we should be able to do that. Now let's define a new function or new method, and we'll call it def add save. So we want to add it to a certain mesh. Okay, def add face to mesh. Okay, so this is a very generic one. So let's see. So I'm going to need to get a mesh object. And what's the mesh object? The mesh object is this, in this case it's cylinder to mesh. So whenever you see this smesh.mesh, that's the one. So or cylinder to mesh, not cylinder to mesh, if you know what I mean. The TO and TWO, that's what I meant. Okay, so let's see. I need to get mesh 1 here. So this is the mesh I'm talking about. This is the mesh object, so that we will need to set it. So this will be set in the, of course, earlier ones. So this is done in a mesh 1 init. So that will come later. So I'm just going to define the function first, and I'm going to use Repos to run this function. Okay, so save. And what's next? I want this group on geom thing. So I'm going to add this, and now I'm going to paste here. You see this group on geom. So instead of the cylinder 2, it just be called mesh object more generically. Okay, mesh object. So this is the mesh object. This is the group on geom, and then we'll have 3 things. So we'll have the mesh, the face object, or the face name, and then the smesh.face. So we'll need a few arguments. Face, face name, and then write this. What's the last one? smesh.face. So I think it'll be self.smesh.face. Okay, it's a capital letter here, so let's do it. Capital letter. So let's see whether smesh.face is around. Okay, self.smesh.face. Okay, self.smesh is here, so that's 1. So it should be imported. Okay, so when we want to get the face attribute within the self.smesh, it should be okay. So right, so this is the add face to mesh. Okay, then this will be the mesh object. Okay, and so this thing doesn't actually return anything into the function, but well, it will need a few more arguments. One is the face, of course, face and face name. Alright, so this is like a so-called template for us. Okay, so let's do, this is the generic one. So now we can make it more specific. Def add, okay, let's have def add face to mesh 1. Now I'm making it more specific. Self face name. So what all I need to do is I'll do self.add face to mesh. Okay, so let's see. Okay, we'll need a mesh object first. Mesh object is equals to, alright, we'll have to do it here. So mesh object, what do we want? Go self.get mesh 1. Okay, let's hope this works. Then we'll have face equals to face, because that's whatever you put here. Face name equals to face name equals to face name. Okay, and okay, so this is add face to mesh 1. Okay, alright, so let's do another one. Define, and yeah, I hope this works. Yeah, so I'm hoping this thing actually adds it to the mesh object. I don't know whether it will disappear or anything, I can't remember, but I'm just trying to have a nice wrapper way of doing it so that I don't have to keep typing things over and over again. Okay, but anyway, so hopefully things will become clearer as I type things out. It may not be that clear now. So let's add the outlet or inlet to mesh 1. We'll just have self face equals self.get inlet. So let's see whether we have a get inlet. Yep, inlet. Yeah, we have that. So the other one is the face name, which is we'll just get the inlet name. Face name equals to self.get inlet name. So self.add face to mesh 1. Okay, face equals to face name equals to face name. Okay, so that's what we are doing. Then def add outlet to mesh 1. Okay, face equals self.get outlet. Face name equals self.get outlet name. Self.add face to mesh 1. Face equals face name equals to face name. Okay, of course I can just copy paste, this will make things faster. And now I avoid having all these underlying things, right? All this mesh object group on geom, everything. I make it such that I don't need to deal with this. Hopefully it works. I have no idea if it will. It's the first time I'm doing it like live. So doing this kind of method live, but yeah. So let me get the wall here and here as well. So that will be it. So let's add the inlet, outlet and wall to mesh 1, and we'll put it inside our test face meshing. So okay, let's try, see whether it works. Cylinder object dot add inlet to mesh 1. Cylinder object dot add outlet to mesh 1. Cylinder object dot add wall to mesh 1. Okay, that's all. So hopefully we will be able to do this. Okay, hopefully we'll be able to do this. Then yeah, let's check whether this works. So I'm going to do the test face meshing. So import link git work directory. So I'm going to get the workspace object for here, and then I'm going to get the test object, and I'm going to get the face test meshing. So let's see whether we get our mesh done properly. So you see we have our meshes there. Let's take a look at the mesh, and you'll see whether our things are here. Okay, great. You can see that our meshes are okay, done very well based on the function that we have. Okay, so the meshes will have their individual faces now, and these will become patches once you export them to UNV. Of course, we can of course change the netgen 1D, 2D, 3D parameters. Okay, netgen, oh boy, netgen, yes. So we have this netgen 1D, 2D, 3D parameters, which well, of course we can change the algorithm here to whatever we want, but no, yeah. That's another thing you can go and study a Python dump for. Okay, so yeah, long and short of it is that we have all these phases now, and if we take a look at the Python dump here, we didn't actually need this cylinder to mesh get groups. Okay, we already have the phases on. Okay, and the groups of phases are already here. Okay, so I guess that works. Of course, if you want this, you want to compare, let's take a look at this one. So I'm going to create a new mesh, and then I'll try to have a netgen 1D, 2D, 3D. Let's hope the results are the same. Okay, so it's the same group of faces, and then what I can do is calculate, and then I'll close, and you see the groups of faces are there. There's actually group 1, group 2, group 3 as well, but okay, this algorithm is slightly different, it looks like, but it still has the essentials here. The bottom inlet. Okay, let me close this. Okay. Oh wow. This one is another one. I don't even know where it is now. Yeah, but we will have our faces here still under group of faces. So that's the important thing I wanted to highlight. Okay, because I can delete all these algorithms. Apparently this VTK viewer is kind of stuck here, but never mind. Let me try again. Oh, and then now it disappears properly. Okay, so I guess that's how you want to, if you want to make things clear and disappear, that's how you do it. And yeah, this is how we actually so-called add the faces to the mesh in a very automatic manner. And what I've done here is to use wrappers, so that when I add face to mesh, well, I can specify something like this. For example, add face to mesh 1, then it will be this. Then I have add inlet to mesh 1 will be like this. So basically, I have one very generic function called add face to mesh. Then if I want to specify something like, I want to add a face to which mesh, I want to add it to mesh 1, then I will do this. Then mesh object equals self.get mesh 1, face equals face name equals face name. Then if I want to decrease it even more so that I minimize the amount of code I'm writing per function, then I can do it like that. So you can see it's very modular. I can adjust this function however I like, and I add layers of specificity so that it makes life easier. Okay, it's a nice way to organize code. I like to do it like that. Okay, you can choose to do it other ways like this, where you actually specify everything in one line. It can be very confusing. I don't know. That's really up to you. But if you take a look at the end of the day, all you're typing is this, and when you are reading this the first time, it's sort of intuitive in a sense. As long as you name your functions right, it's sort of intuitive to know what's going on. You're getting a cylinder object, you're building the origin, you're building cylinder 2. This one is a little bit abstract, sometimes can't be helped. But look at this, we're adding faces to cylinder 2. Then we are initiating a mesh. Then we are giving it an algorithm, adding the inlet, outlet, and wall to mesh 1. And then we are computing. So at least these steps over here, it's very clear what we are trying to do. Okay, so and that's very helpful for code. And it makes it easy to read and all. So yeah, now you have it. I guess the last part will be, of course, to export it to UNV. So where's the export to UNV? Yeah, where is export to UNV? Export to UNV. Oh, I don't have an export to UNV. Oh, that is problematic. Okay, let's see. UNV, where's the UNV? No, I don't have an export to UNV yet. Okay. Oh right, the Python dump isn't even done. Okay, let's see. See mesh and export Python dump. Okay, the UNV thing is I believe this one, export UNV. Okay, so we can use the same thing again, and we can actually specify a file path if we want, but if not, it's okay as well. It's really up to you. And it's done using this try mesh1 export to UNV. So I'm going to copy and paste most of these things down here. Live mesh and export Python dump. So let's see. Export. Oh, really, I don't have an export function. Must be in the other one. So let's do an export function here. Again, we'll start from general and we'll work our way out. Work our way down to specific. So yank paste. Okay, so I will define something here called I'll define something here called export to UNV. Okay, I'll call it export mesh to UNV. Self, I don't know what else we need. Okay, so I'm going to put everything here, yank, and then I'll just paste, and then you'll see what we need to export. Oops, paste, undo, let's try again. Okay, let's try again. Here's the visual, BN, and P for paste. So yeah, I'm going to indent it about 8 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 8 spaces in, 8 spaces in, 8 spaces in, 8 spaces in. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's better. So well, you can see that I want to make things neater. So you see all of this here, this is a very long string. So I'd rather put this into a function. Alright, I'd rather put this into a function. So what do? I'm going to put it into a get function. Where's my get and set? Yeah. Okay, so I can specify def get path name here. Then I'm going to just return this long string. Okay. I'll get the path name, which will be all of this. Then I'll put it here. Okay. This will be the string I return. Okay, get path name will be this. Okay, I'm not gonna get this. Okay, def get mesh1 UNV name self. Okay, then return r mesh1.unv. Okay, so this will be 2 strings here. One is for path, one is for the mesh1 UNV name. So yeah, I can just add them together to get my full file path. Okay, so yeah, okay, just to make life easier for myself, I will have this thing called def get mesh1 path name. Okay, self mesh1 UNV path name. Okay, so So let's put the first part1 equals to self.getPathName, part2 equals to self.getMesh1 UNV name, and then I'll just return part1 plus part2. Okay, so that will be both of these strings concatenated together, and that should give you the correct UNV name. So mesh1, okay, get mesh1 path UNV name. So that's how I will do it. Okay, and this will be this thing here. Okay, I'll probably use this later. Self.getMesh1 UNV path name. So export mesh to UNV, and I will just put in two generic arguments here: mesh name and path name. Okay, so these are the only two things. So now I'll change the mesh1 into mesh name, and then this thing I'll just delete, and I'll just put the path name here, so that you know this function's very generic. Mesh path name. Okay, so that's how we're going to do this. And then okay, so I'm going to export mesh1 to UNV, self path name. Okay, so export mesh1 to UNV. I'm going to self export mesh to UNV. Mesh name equals to, well, we don't have a mesh name, so we do have a mesh name. So self, okay, where's the mesh name? Oh yeah, this is not a mesh name, this is a mesh. Okay, oopsie. So mesh name usually just refers to string. Okay, so let's do mesh. Self get mesh1. Okay, and what's the path name? Path name equals to path name, of course, because I'm not specified the path name yet. Okay, and dev export mesh1 to UNV in where? In the Python folder. That's very specific now. So self.export mesh1 to UNV. Okay, export mesh1 to UNV, and what's the path name? It'll be self.getMesh1 path name. And why am I doing it like that? So that well, if you ever want to use this function to do other things, we can. So if you want to change the mesh or the file name, we can. But now I have made this one very specific, that I want to deal with mesh1, I want to export it to my Python folder. So let's copy and paste this, and hopefully we will have a UNV inside our Python folder that we can deal with. Alright, so it makes it very modular. Mesh1 export. So cylinder object dot this, and let's try the test again. I'm going to delete everything here. I'm going to delete the mesh object, which I can't really delete anything, but let's go to the geometry object and delete everything. And then we'll run test face meshing again. Self get test object test face meshing. Okay, so let's see what's wrong. Export mesh1 UNV. Okay, so mesh builder has no attribute get mesh1 path name. So let's check get mesh1 path name. Okay, so let's check. So where's the get mesh1 UNV path name. So we have to check at the mesh1 UNV path name. So this is very specific. Okay, so UNV path name. Okay, so that's just that prefix here. Let's do it again. Okay, so it says our export failed. There was some invalid path name. So let's let's print this path name first, and then hopefully that will be it for today. So okay, so let me do some debugging. Debug equals to 1, so if debug equals to 1, then I want to print this. Otherwise, if debug equals 0, don't print anything at all. Okay, so that's all. Let's try again, and I'll just delete everything as per normal. Okay, mesh. Okay, and I'll delete this. Yeah, I'm biting a little bit more than I can chew. This video is going to get very long. Okay, let's get the test object and we'll test the face meshing again. Self.get mesh1 UNV path name. Oh, right. This should be cylinder object, not self. Okay, not killer, but then we'll have to just delete everything again. And let's do this. Alright, so let's get our test object again. Test face meshing. Okay, so this is the path name, which is home salon blah 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 intermediate plus salon video script mesh 1 UNV. Okay, yeah, this is exactly what they gave us. I don't understand why. Okay, home salon blah 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 native blah 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 src theme pipe for 7x mesh intermediate plus salon video scripts mesh1.unv. Oh yeah, it's exactly the same there. I don't know why this is not accepted, but okay, maybe I'll try one more thing. Okay, so this seems to be the right name, and then let's see whether putting in the R will do anything good. Okay, so get mesh 1 UNV path name. Let's see over here, this is the part 1 and part 2. Okay, let's try this. Total equals to part 1 plus part 2. Okay, so total equals to string of total, and then not only do I want to do that, okay, let me just try that, see whether this works, because I'm suspecting when you add things together maybe there's something that goes wonky. I don't really know, but let's try again. Now I'll just call it a day whether or not I finish. Okay. Okay, self.test object, test face meshing. Okay, okay, I'll just call it quits. I'll debug this and then I'll come back to you with the answer. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys again. Bye bye.